Hey, Loco Golf fans. Welcome to our first broadcast here of a Quick Nine with Steve Wilmot, our first guest, the director of the RBC Heritage for a long time now, and a great guy that I've enjoyed working with over the years, going back to the Island Packet and then at Loco Sports. And now we're really excited to have you help us introduce Loco Golf to the world, man. We're really excited about this project and hope that it's going to be a great thing for the local golf industry. And things are really looking up for local golf right now, right?
Well, Justin, thank you. I mean, I'm honored and feel extremely privileged to be your first guest. But what you've done for this community, and I think back of our friendship and relationship, but knowing that you've really found a great niche that this community needs. I'm glad to be on here, and we really appreciate all your efforts.
Fantastic. Thanks, man. It's we love what we do, and we're happy to provide a service to the community, and we think Loco Golf is going to be a great addition to that, and something that is really needed here. One spot that kind of comprehensively covers the local golf scene, whether it's competitive golf or the industry locally or the RBC heritage or whatever it is. We want to cover all things golf and kind of be the place to go for course reviews and those kinds of things. But the heritage, of course, is the centerpiece of our golf community here. And you guys are knocking on the door now. You're full speed ahead toward April. Give us a little update on just the craziness of these past couple of years and getting through the pandemic and where we are now, going back to full capacity spectators here in 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. But going back to one of your comments too, I mean, yes, we're just a week out of the year in April, even though it's 13 months out of the year, if not 53 weeks out of the year effort in pulling it off. But there's some incredible things that are happening here in this community, golf related, from professionals that are practicing and playing out of here down to all these incredible golf courses to the Darius event coming up at Long Cove, to the Junior Heritage this weekend. There's so many things that people don't, I think, realize that we're certainly fortunate and blessed in this community. But going back to the fact that we are the biggest event in South Carolina, we do not. The unique thing that makes this even more special in my eyes, and I'm honored to be a part of this event for many, many pounds, years. This will be my 36th tournament, but you think back of why we do what we do and giving back to charity, and certainly back in 1969 when the Fraser family developed in Harbortown and the Lighthouse and had the first tournament. The first tournament being played over Thanksgiving, which actually there was the first 4 years was played over Thanksgiving, and then in 74 was played over the summer, and then into March in 75, and then we've been in a traditional spot after the Masters. But we're very fortunate. We're not competing with the NFL or Major League Baseball here in the state, so it is the biggest event. And we ran into some difficult times a couple of years ago, as everybody did. I mean, who would ever thought of March of 20 of what would have happened? Nobody could have foreseen or planned with regards to the pandemic. And then for us to be canceled altogether, and the PGA Tour honestly is telling us, sorry, it's canceled, see you next year, to 2 weeks later of, okay, hey, would you be interested in pulling this off in June with no spectators? And we said yes, but people have to understand it was not as easy as saying yes. There was the facility, there was the conditions of the golf course, there was accommodations, there was volunteers. There's a lot of things that needed to happen, but in working with the community, first and foremost, working with the town, working with the Sea Pines Resort and the tour, we were able to pull it off. But still had to address a lot of things with the 20 event that didn't happen because of refunds, deferment of pay, sponsors, spectators, and all, leading into 21, and even we're addressing some of that now, or obviously donations that many people made. And then for us to jump into last year, not sure what to expect, and we were limited capacity, and it was a interesting experience, a different one, a different vibe and feel. A lot of people liked it, but unfortunately it's a financial model that we couldn't exist and couldn't continue with. So So to get to where we are this year now too, I mean, we're full steam ahead at full capacity, but people need to understand our full capacity is not necessarily where we were in 2019. And one of the things is people have to understand Saturday of 2019, if you were there, it wasn't necessarily a good thing. We couldn't have gotten another body out there. So from what we've gone through the last couple of years, we're looking at an enhanced experience for our spectators, limiting some tickets. I mean, our full build out will happen, but we're limiting ticket sales a little bit to so our full capacity would be kind of 80% of where we were in 2019. But um, we are actively engaged with our spectators, our sponsors, our patrons, our volunteers, and long-winded answer, Justin. As you can tell, I can go off track a little bit, but we're excited about April, and plans are moving forward, and anticipate a great week.
No, we appreciate the insight into what's happening. I mean, it's the biggest event of the year in our community, and so important to our community with the charitable giving, and some great news just released today that the Mitchellville Preservation Project, one of the PGA Tour of Charity of the Year finalists. So a big $5,000 award for them, and just a great start to get back toward getting back to that level of charitable giving where you guys were pre-pandemic.
Yeah, and actually, one other thing in that announcement today, Justin, was the fact that our charitable programs, our birdies as well as our champions, we kind of paused a little bit because of obviously what has happened the last 2 years, and but we've increased the match to 15% of 100% of your contribution, which we had gone back to 10%, but we're back to 15. So that's all good news because it wasn't just us, and we were a part of it. There's many groups, organizations, individuals, and things that were certainly impacted. So to get back on track, and then some, we were really, excited about that. So.
And you're going to digital tickets, which is something that I think was probably inevitable, but the pandemic has pushed a lot of people to that. And in fact, even the local high schools are doing only digital tickets now for their events and stuff. So tell us a little bit about what that will be like. I mean, it's not really going to be a big change on the back end for the spectators as much as it will be just in how you process it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and this wasn't, and you teed it up extremely well in the fact that this wasn't a pandemic push to do this, but there's more of a comfort from people knowing that from airline tickets to plane tickets to high school sports to Clemson, South Carolina football games to the Palmetto Championship to the PGA Championship, they were all digital. So this was about almost a 5 year transition that was happening working with the PGA Tour that are partners with Ticketmaster, and so we're going digital. And yes, it's a big change. We're pulling the band-aids off and all in, and there'll be some little hiccups, but in us going through the exercise, many different exercises with our partners and sponsors, once they get the tickets, some of our partners have hundreds of tickets they have to manage through will call and mailing. And this way you're able to send, a ticket, a push of a button to someone and they could accept or not. And then they have it on their phone and their wallet, and boom, here you go. Now we are still, I mean, people are trying to figure this out a little bit. We're not an arena and a stadium, as people know, where there's one way in, one way out, or a few. So that we have 600 plus entry points around the golf course with all the homes and all that. There are some logistics and some operations around it, but we will be giving wearables, kind of like in the past, to identify that you've been there and that you have a ticket. But we're going to have locations between 1 and 2, 8, 9, 10 and 11, 15, 16, the cut through on 7. By the cemetery there will be down in Harbor Town. There's where the concessions. We're going to have an area there, as well as behind 18, and then the clubhouse. we're going to be doing these checking tickets is all well added. Honeyhorn will be going through the digital process, making sure everybody has it in their wallet, and then it'll be dropped off in Harbortown, where we'll have a location work with our ticket team and working through that. So it's a much bigger undertaking than what I just talked about, but we've had a lot of tournaments that have held our hand through this process that have gone through it. We also have a couple tournament ticket directors that are going to be here in the week of the tournament with us in advance. We also have the PGA Tour, as well as representatives from Ticketmaster, that will be here to help manage and monitor as well. And we have a great group of Rotarians that work our will call and ticket area that are going to assist us as well. So it's we want to make sure, the team here knows that I want to make sure that we over communicate, over deliver, and so that there won't be any hiccups, which we know there will be some. And there are some that don't have phones, or some that don't have flip phones and things too. But we're ready. We're up for the challenge, and we're all in.
Very good. And you mentioned the sponsorship situation, and where are you guys at in negotiations with RBC, continuing as the title sponsor, and what's kind of the timeline for that?
Yeah, well, actually, we're right in the middle of negotiations with RBC right now. I mean, they love it here. The unfortunate thing, they haven't been here in 2 years, so that's something that kind of maybe works against us a little bit, because they've had great success with the broadcast and things. So there's some challenges with that. Unfortunately, or I shouldn't say unfortunately, but their agreement is up in 23. So we're trying to extend that as long as we possibly can. Boeing is through 24. And then the town, the Sea Pines Resort, and our PGA Tour agreements through 23 as well. So we're trying to at least tie in 24 and then get the extension. But we have a lot of work ahead of ourselves in working with the tour and RBC. Now, the tough part with RBC that I really feel for them is, they also have another PGA Tour event, the RBC Canadian Open, and unfortunately, they have not played that event in 2 years. They have missed. They haven't even been able to replay the event in 2019 that Rory McIlroy won, up at Hamilton, and that's unfortunate, because they were able to plug us in our event in June of 20, and then last year it coincided
or championship
date with the Palmetto Championship.
Yeah.
So they're negotiating 2 events, and both events on CBS, which we feel is the best in the business, best in golf. And but we've got our fingers crossed. We're working hard, but this community sells this event. We're special. We're unique, and certainly what Sea Pines does, and their continuing commitment to the resort, whether it's the conditions of the golf course or the facilities and the new core deck. But they also, RBC utilizes the likes of Long Cove and Wexford, and the West End and other properties. Boeing spends time out at Palmetto Bluff. I mean, this community is fully engaged to help support this tournament, and everyone's a part of it. So keep on keeping on, and we want to make sure we're here for through 23 and beyond. That's for sure.
And we learned a few years back, we can always count on the players to stage a coup if they try to take Harbortown off the schedule.
Yeah. Well, and Justin, thank you for saying that, because you know what? It's really interesting that it's really the players that saved us, and the media, and the likes of yourself, because there's a lot of times you have no control of what the players say or think or do, and you have no control of the media. Sometimes they're going to write story, but what happened back in 10 and 11, there was nothing ever negative written or said about our tournament. The media was all about, it wasn't about, oh, where are they going to play next year if they're not in Harbortown? It was all about, hey, they need to be on the PGA Tour. We need to be where we are on the schedule. And the players sold it. The tour came out. We came out, or the tour heard loud and clear that, hey, this tournament needs to stay on the PGA Tour. And we also realized something that a lot of tournaments might not embrace, but we do, is following a major or leading into a major. We happen to follow the Masters, and we have our niche. We might
Yeah.
lose a couple players, but we pick up a lot of international players. But it was through that period of 10 and 11 that the tour heard, and just like us with negotiations now, they feel very confident. We're going to get something done with RBC, but if not, we'll be on the schedule. It's just a matter of filling in there. But we have no indications of that. We have great partners in RBC and Boeing right now. Both of them, are fully engaged and will be this year.
Yeah, and I've always felt like the storyline that top players skip the Heritage because it's the week after the Masters was a little overblown anyway, because a lot of those guys are guys who wouldn't come here anyway because the course doesn't suit their game, So, I think you can write off a lot of those, and I think we definitely benefit from that relationship, and it's a perfect pairing. There aren't very many tournaments that you could pair with a major the week after that fit so well because it's just such a polar opposite experience.
Well, absolutely, and I think it's interesting too, because what's so important to our titles, to us, this community, is the television, as well. And if you listen to the broadcast, you would think that we, as the chamber, is the title sponsor of this event because of how they talk it up. But the players, if you think about CBS goes through March Madness,
Mhm.
through that whole period, and then they jump right into 56 minutes of every hour at Augusta, and then they come down here, and in their eyes, it's a kind of a spring break, and it's kind of a relief. And the guy's attitude. I mean, we have Jim Nance on video saying the best 3 hours of Augusta is the drive to Hilton Head because the pressure and the time, and there's nothing like it. It's the premier event on the PG. Well, it's not the PGA Tour, but the premier event in golf, if not all of sports. But I think the broadcast is been handled so well, Reese, because those guys enjoy and love being down here, and they're walking down, and whether it's Jim or Nick or some of these other guys walking around Harbor Town and getting a bite to eat at a local restaurant. There's a lot of places they can't do that, but they feel at home here, and we're blessed to be in this great community in Sea Pines, but also on Hilton Head Island, and Bluffton's our driveway. You got to get through Bluffton to get to Hilton Head to get to us, so it's we're all in this together.
Well, that's a great segue into what we came here to do, which is our quick nine. So we've got 9 quick questions for you, rapid fire about golf and the Low Country. So let's kick it off. When did you first fall in love with the Low Country?
Well, when I first came down here, and actually it was 85 that I came in here, just as and a friend that's dear and near to many of us, Carol Bartholomew, was somebody that I knew from my college summers up in Ocean City, New Jersey, and she was an opportunity came up in with Sea Pines, and she was working with them at that time, and here I am, and it's like I said, it's been I thought what was going to be 10 months turned into 36 years and 30 plus pounds. But I'm still learning. And the day you stop learning, the day you get out of business. I'll learn from you today, Justin. And I look forward to continuing to grow this tournament, this great game.
Awesome. Yeah, I did not know that about you and Carol. I thought I had heard all of your stories over the years, but
No,
I had missed that one. So
no,
good stuff.
she actually went to high school. I played football in college with somebody she went to high school with, and that's how I got to meet her. And she and a friend of hers, Nancy Snell from yesteryear too. They were my first roommates down here. So
She's one of the finest people you'll ever meet right there. But
absolutely.
well, when did you start playing golf? How'd you get into the game?
Really, in getting into the business. I mean, I grew up as a football, basketball, baseball guy. My dad was the same. Went to college, and we picked it up a little bit. But I really um, getting into the business. But that's actually something that I think is just like the staff here. I don't expect anybody to be a great golfer to be involved in sports management, sports marketing, and my background in having played college athletics, having been involved in college athletics, and then having been involved in professional sports and getting here, it really had nothing to do about golf. It was more about organization, and I look at it as teamwork and team building and so forth too. But I certainly love the game, and certainly wish I was better, but I do love playing.
Don't we all, man? My game has slid tremendously. I don't really even play anymore. The kids kind of threw a wrench in it, but
Well, and that's the important thing. Enjoy those times. Now I'm at a point in my life with my son. There's nothing I enjoy more than playing golf with my son, and he's 27 now, and it's the only time I pray for slow play is when I'm with him, because it's undivided attention. Where I used to run pass patterns for him and play basketball. I mean, I've kind of been there, done that, and but I love it. Not that I'm a nine-holer by any means, but I love getting out there and just hitting balls and maybe playing 9 holes. And certainly, if it's 18, it's fine. But I still have a wonderful daughter at home too. We're trying to figure out her future with college, being a senior at prep, and so I don't necessarily play on weekends, but I'll try to get out there when I can.
yeah, you've got to keep your game informed just in case you have to play. But
Yeah.
what's your favorite course to play here in the Loco? And I think you may be political with this answer.
Uh, yes, but no, I'm Harbor Town through and through. And I think there's something to be. I love it. I love the way it feels. It certainly grows on you. But I know every inch of that golf course, because of things that we've done over the years. So I feel like when we're sitting here talking about power or water or port, I know the golf course, so that there's a familiarity with it. But to ever go out there and play with someone, and to sit on 18 tee box, and the guys in your group are looking around going, "Oh my gosh," and I'm like, "This is home. This is where I play." I mean, it's pretty special. But I can tell you, I've had the pleasure of playing everywhere here, and there are incredible golf courses all through this community, wonderful clubs, wonderful golf professionals, and we're very fortunate to be in such a special place.
We agree completely. That's why we exist at Loco Golf. So you may have already answered it in part, but what's your favorite hole on a golf course here in this area?
Well, I tell people it's funny. We'll go back to Harbor Town, and there's a side of me 15, and people might go, "Why?" But usually I might be playing late in the day, and there's nothing better than sitting on the tee box in the fairway, and half the fairway is shaded with the sun going down, and the other is sunny, and there's something about that. And yes, we could talk about 17, 18, 16. I mean, we can go all around that golf course, or we can go out to, shoot, I can talk about Colleton and Berkeley and Belfair and all those courses, and here in Long Cove, and the Wexford there, let alone Atlantic Dunes and Heron Point. There are two incredible golf courses that I love, and it's just to be out there, and 99.9% of the time you're out there with people you want to be with. It's a little bit of exercise. You get a little pop and a bite to eat, and it doesn't get much better than that.
Agreed. What course is at the top of your bucket list? One you haven't played, not necessarily in this area.
Oh, well, I can tell you, a chill bumps thinking about it. I grew up within only a couple miles of Pine Valley, and I never played. I was not a golfer growing up, and without question, it's somewhere I'd really like to go. And again, I'd like to be there with my son, and um, and I had the pleasure last summer going up, and he and I went over and played Marion, but I still haven't played Pine Valley. But I've had the pleasure. I have played Augusta once, and certainly you never want to turn down an opportunity there. But most of the PGA Tour events I've had the pleasure of playing, which is, I certainly take for granted there. But Bandon Dunes and a few places, I wouldn't mind getting out there, and hopefully I will sooner than later for obvious reasons. But I'd love to be right there next to my son playing. That's for sure.
Good stuff. So who's your favorite golfer, past or present?
Um, I'm going to go with the guy that I grew up with here, Davis Love, and I don't mean go with. He's a great friend. His first win on the PGA Tour was in 1987 at Harvard Town, and that was my first tournament. And We've shared a lot of time together. His birthday is April 13th, right, usually around the middle of the tournament. I've been to many different surprise birthday parties for him, and he's a great friend, but he's one of the truly good guys. And there's a lot of good guys out there, but there's no question Davis is top of my list.
He definitely provided a lot of great highlights here, and
Yep,
has been a great ambassador for the tournament. You know, does everything you ask, and
yep,
you
yep.
know, not a local guy, but he feels like a local when he's
Oh,
at the
there's no
Heritage. So
he is when you think Hilton Head, you think Harbor 10, you think of the Heritage, you think of Davis Love. There's no
fist
doubt.
pump, baby. All right, what's your favorite club in your bag?
7 wood. I've lost a little different distance, but I'm hitting my woods a lot more than I ever have. But yeah, no, 7 wood. And there's
It's hard to
people out
get
there
an
who
iron in these days, huh?
yeah, I can hit that 7 wood from 135 or 190. So it's yeah.
What's your go-to snack at the turn? You said a pop and a snack. What are you getting?
Actually, I try not to eat too much while I'm out there. You know, I'll get a power bar or some kind of crackers or so. I'm not a hot dog guy sitting there, but if you get me eating, I'll never stop. So I'll have a bad back nine. So I try to stay away from that. So
All right, so finally, last question. Who's in your dream foursome?
dream foursome. Well, certainly if you look at it from a fan, I wish my dad was still alive. It'd be my dad, my son, and I find a fourth. But Davis Love would be great. Mr. Nicholas, I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the years. Never played with, um, and from the golf side, I mean, even I had the pleasure of knowing in a different way with Payne Stewart over the years, but unfortunately we lost him too early. But he was certainly had become a good friend and things too. But um, yeah, and I can get into sports figures too. Heck, even nowadays, with all the talk of Tom Brady, it'd be pretty cool to tee it up there, and get Peyton Manning too, and get a few others. But you know what? Spend time out there um, with anybody, knowing you're outdoors, you're getting some exercise, and it would be great. And there's no doubt.
Well, thanks so much, Steve. We'll definitely be talking to you plenty down the road with the Heritage right around the corner, and we got Media Day coming up, so we'll see you out there real soon.
Yeah, well, thank you, Justin. Thank you for all that you certainly do and your support, and anything we can do here. Angela runs our communications and marketing for us, and you have a great relationship there. And I guess I should apologize for not having you in my dream foursome, but we'll get out there and play one of these days.
I haven't played very well the last few times, so you may not want me in there. I might
No,
ruin
it's,
that foursome.
no,
So,
no problem. Just being outside, having fun.
all right. Well, we'll see you soon, Steve. Thanks so much to Steve Wilmot from the RBC Heritage. And thanks for tuning in to our first Quick Nine here on locogolf.com. Until next time, go Loco.